When we talk about the world's most powerful organizations, names like the World Economic Forum, the Council on Foreign Relations, the International Monetary Fund, and the United Nations often come to mind. These are the groups that claim to address the biggest challenges facing humanity: climate change, global inequality, and economic stability. But what if I told you that the real power doesn't lie within these organizations themselves, but with key individuals who act as bridges between them? Watch this video to the very end to find out how. Let's get it. I'm not a financial advisor. Welcome to BitBoy X. I'm your host, the BitBoy. If you like raising your political, historical, and financial IQ, then smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell for more. Some of the world's most influential figures serve in multiple roles across global organizations. Their ability to shape policy goes beyond individual contributions to any one group. They control the narrative by influencing multiple power structures at once. Let's start with old Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, one of the largest asset managers in the world. Now, most people know Fink for his role at BlackRock.
It was the year before the Black Monday crash. Wall Street darling Larry Fink suffered a $100 million trading loss.
I was so angry at myself. I was just mortified at myself.
Humiliated, Fink now is forced to leave the company. But upon his failure, he will build the mightiest company in the world, BlackRock.
But what's less commonly discussed is how Fink is deeply connected to multiple global organizations. He's a frequent speaker and attendee at the World Economic Forum, where his influence extends into discussions on economic policy, climate finance, and corporate governance. But Fink's power doesn't stop at the WEF. He also has ties to the Council on Foreign Relations and has acted as an advisor in various informal capacities to central banks, including the US Federal Reserve. At CFR, his expertise shapes discussions on international economic policy, trade, and the global financial system. His crossover influence allows him to push for specific policy changes in both public and private sectors, aligning them with the vast financial interests of BlackRock. BlackRock itself manages over $9 trillion in assets, so wherever Fink is, so is financial power. Next, let's talk about Christine Lagarde, another key figure who operates across multiple global platforms. As the former head of the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, and now the president of the ECB, European Central Bank, Lagarde is one of the most influential voices in shaping global monetary policy.
In my position as head of the European Central Bank, what I focus primarily on is prices, price stability, inflation, and how it's evolving over the course of time.
Her tenure at the IMF coincided with some of the most significant economic crises of our time, where she played a pivotal role in negotiating financial rescue packages for countries like Greece and Argentina. But her role isn't confined to economic governance only. Lagarde is also a regular attendee at the World Economic Forum, where she pushes for broader global financial reforms and advocates for stronger cooperation between governments and the private sector. She's also been linked to discussions within the Trilateral Commission, an organization focused on fostering cooperation between North America, Europe, and Asia. This crossover gives her a unique platform to shape the global financial system from multiple angles, through central banking, international diplomacy, and private sector collaboration. But if we were talking about someone whose career shaped global diplomacy more than anybody else, it's gotta be Henry Kissinger. Kissinger is one of the most prominent figures in US foreign policy history, serving as National Security Advisor and Secretary of State under Presidents Nixon and Ford. But his influence stretches far beyond the US government.
Many of you watching are 100% positive that Henry Kissinger is a war criminal. Others might see Kissinger as a brilliant leader who helped the US navigate very uncertain times during the Cold War.
Kissinger was a key figure within the Council on Foreign Relations for decades. His role in shaping US foreign policy is well known, of course, but his influence extends globally through his involvement with the Bilderberg Group and the Trilateral Commission, two highly secretive and influential organizations. The Bilderberg Group brings together leaders from politics, finance, and media to discuss global strategy behind closed doors, while the Trilateral Commission fosters dialogue between the US, Europe, and Asia to promote cooperation and policy alignment. In these organizations, Kissinger acted as a bridge between the public and private sector, steering conversations about everything from nuclear policy to trade relations. His involvement in the World Economic Forum also cannot be understated. Kissinger has been a speaker and participant at the WEF for years, where his advice is often sought on geopolitical stability and international diplomacy. What made his role unique was how he moved effortlessly between think tanks, private institutions, and government roles. He used each platform to advance his vision of global order, or was it someone else's vision he was advancing? I don't know. Now, what's particularly interesting about these individuals, Fink, Lagarde, Kissinger, is not just their membership in these organizations, but how their positions in one group influence their roles in another. For example, when Lagarde speaks at the WEF about the need for stronger global governance, she's drawing on her experience at the IMF, where she helped manage global financial crises. Similarly, when Larry Fink promotes sustainable investing at the WEF, he's not only speaking as BlackRock CEO, but as someone who helped shape economic policy discussions at the CFR. These figures are not isolated actors. They are part of a tightly knit network of global elites who shape the direction of international policy on multiple fronts. We call them facilitators. Their ability to move seamlessly between these organizations, whether it's the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberg Group, or the World Economic Forum, it allows them to wield influence that far exceeds the scope of any single organization. And here's the thing, when these crossover members speak or make policy recommendations, they are often doing so with an agenda that reflects the interests of all the organizations they're involved in. So when Larry Fink talks about sustainability or economic reform at the WEF, you have to ask, whose interests are he really representing? BlackRock? CFR? The broader global financial system? Someone else? This overlapping membership raises important questions about accountability. Who's really setting the global agenda? I know who it is. Or do you? I don't know. Are decisions being made by our elected officials or by powerful, unelected officials who straddle multiple organizations? These are the people who control not just one sector, but entire geopolitical and economic systems. Their influence is vast, and understanding the connections they hold is crucial to understand the true power structures of the world. As we continue to see shifts in global dynamics, especially with the rise of the BRICS nations and new economic powers, it's vital to pay attention to the roles these crossover members play. They're at the helm of the decisions that will affect the future of trade, finance, and global governance. Don't be a frog in boiling water. Like and subscribe, because this is the only crypto channel out there showing you how the world really works. You can talk about it in our free Discord as well. Links down below in the description. That's all I got. Be blessed. Good boy out.